Disclaimer. No data subjects were harmed in the making of this podcast. Welcome to the Privacy Bar and Bants podcast. We make privacy awareness simple. Sit back, relax, and grab your darkest privacy myths and misconceptions. Your mind-boggling experience begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is our lovely
drink water
video and
so
our
anyway,
right,
so who
because
am
you
I? I'm
are.
yet in the industry.
Next question, next.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Privacy Bambants. With me on the call is Yetunde, Ridwan, and Abdulmajid. So, guys, how's everyone doing? How's our week been? What's going on in the privacy landscape?
Hi, I'm doing very well, thank you. Everything is going well. The privacy landscape. It's a very interesting moment. We have regulations up and there jumping out of the sea.
I mean, out of
um,
the sea, actually.
yeah. So, but yeah, I guess it's an interesting time to be alive and to be able to help organizations in solving some of these challenges.
I mean, really, true. It's an interesting time to be alive. Yetunde, how are you doing?
Please let's ask Ridwan first. I'm coming. You can come back to me. I really have to process how I'm feeling. Then I'll speak.
Okay,
Okay,
that's scary,
I'm
but
fine.
okay.
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. I think that there has never been any dull moments. I mean, in the privacy landscape. So it's always interesting to hear the news. Every now and then sometimes you'll be surprised, and you just have to learn from those news. So most of them are always should I say sad. So, but we're all here. Thank you.
See, this podcast, Privacy Bar and Bans. Everybody sounds so serious. I like it. It's a new dimension. Dada, can you see people sounding serious? Why is it that you always sound unserious? What's the reason? So I actually yeah, I'm having one of those weeks where, you know, I don't really know how to put into words how my week is going. I should know it's going. And we're not at the end of the week. So I'm hoping that next week goes better. But in terms of privacy landscape, the draft adequacy decision for the EU came out this week. It's still a draft though, but we'll see how we'll see where we're going with this. Abdulbajid, I'm sure it was a very interesting week for you as well because of that. And Ridwan, having that little element, that new introduction to contend with.
So introducing Abdulmajid is an IPP, CIPP, and CIPM certified expert. He's a privacy engineer with a background in software engineering, data protection compliance, and cybersecurity. So I mean, it doesn't get more diverse than this. He's also worked in a non-profit organization, and right now he's just doing really amazing things in the privacy field. And if you already follow him, I think he's someone you should keep following. But quick question, Abdul Majid. How was working in an NGO like? How did you mix that with? I'm guessing you did something privacy related for them. How did that play out?
Thank you. That was a very flattering introduction, and yeah, I hope all you said is true. Anyways, yeah, so I'm working for the NGO. I was doing more of data management, so it wasn't just privacy in specific. But I would say the difference between working for an NGO and working for a profit or organization is just like in NGOs, um the aim is not really money, right? So they are not really concerned about how much is generated per year or per month. So it is very easy to like convince, or I'm not going to say it's very easy also, but it's easy to convince the leaders into spending and investing in privacy. You can easily convince them that, okay, looking at privacy from a human rights perspective, it's something we must
Mm,
have, which
mm,
would force them in paying or investing. Unlike when it's in a business or a profit or oriented business, you have to show them what the return of investment will
mm,
be
mm,
for the amount that they are investing.
mm. That's interesting. That's really interesting to hear. Very
Yep.
subtle but important distinction. Thanks, Abdulmajid.
You get, I think there was something important to learn, but we're not going to get right into it right now. Introducing Ridwan. Ridwan is a privacy and data protection attorney and chief technical officer with knowledge and experience across software engineering, cybersecurity, and data protection. So again, it doesn't get more diverse than this. These guys are, I mean, it's hard to combine knowledge and experience in across like multiple fields, and that's what we have here, right? Majid and Abdul Majid and Ridwan are doing just that, and they're doing it amazingly well. Um, Ridwan has competencies relevant to blockchain development, cloud engineering, cybersecurity, and AI. It's great to have you guys here, and I look forward to having like a really, we look forward to having like a really amazing conversation with you guys and to learn also.
Of course. Who better to learn from? Hmm. But before we start the learning process, I think that you want to rustle your feathers a little bit, help you ease and calm into the podcast and sort of relax, So we have these special segments that sorry, let me ask first. Did you guys read the emails we sent you? Because some people actually like, and it's not a bad thing. I think everyone's really busy, so like I'm just curious. Did you read the email?
I
Yeah.
did. I went for it. So
So you're prepared.
I won't say that. So reading it does not signifies preparedness, and just as we said that we're all busy. So I've been very busy, and I didn't have enough time to prepare. But then, of course, it's what we do. So I hope I will be up to the task. Thank you.
Abdul Majid, how about you? Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
Oh, let's go. Oh God, that's it. Yes. Okay.
I love the
So
spirits.
I love
It's
the
the
spirit
energy
so
for
much.
me.
Absolutely, it is the energy for me. So this is what we're
Okay,
going to
okay.
do.
Just to clarify, I'm not ready. I'm just being optimistic.
Why is it that everybody comes on this podcast for me humble now? You guys don't come in with humility. Come in with arrogance. Say, you know what is it that you people want to do? I'm ready to destroy it. Yeah. What are the questions that you have? I'm ready to, take it over and run the show and turn the whole thing upside down, setting trends, I'm going to break the ceiling. That's what we want to hear now. Don't like we want the confidence, but it's okay, whichever one. I think that what we would do right is that we would have Ridwan take the privacy field, and then Abdulmajid take the rapid fire. Abdulmajid, so you're up first, and I would like to ask you if you're ready for this hot seat we're inviting you to sit on. So basically, for our listeners, for those who don't know what the rapid fire is, right? So rapid fire is like is a segment where you have to answer as many questions as you can within 1 minute. And the more questions you can answer, the higher on our leaderboard you get. So at the moment, I think at the top of the leaderboard, I think we have seven. So 7 questions. Somebody was able to answer 7 questions within the 1 minute time frame. And so I think that um Abdulmajid will probably beat top the leaderboard and knock our current first place out of their position. So without further ado, um, Abdulmajid, are you ready? Your time starts
Yes. Yeah.
He was born ready. What do
now.
you mean?
Well,
Nigerian man. I was born deep and always
okay,
ready.
exact, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so Abdulmajid, you have 1 minute and your time starts now. How many data
Okay.
protection principles are under the GDPR? You can say
Ah,
skip if you don't know it.
skip, skip, skip.
Okay, what does 2FA stand for?
Multi-factor authentication.
Okay, what does IAPP stand for?
The National Association of Privacy Professionals.
Okay. How many legal bases for processing ordinary data are provided for in the GDPR?
Come again?
How many legal bases for processing ordinary data are provided for in the GDPR?
Skip.
Okay. When did GDPR come into force?
2018.
What's your biggest privacy nightmare? Okay, so I'm going to let you answer that, since even if your time is up.
Privacy
What's your biggest
privacy
privacy
breach.
nightmare?
Privacy breaches.
Privacy breaches. Okay, everyone seems to have
Yeah.
that answer, privacy breaches. But I mean, isn't that the norm? Like, doesn't that happen so frequently?
Yeah,
Not norm, but I mean, it happens so often.
it's of course it
Delacroix, I
does
can't hear
happen,
you.
but
Are you there? Or is it just me?
it's just,
Okay.
I guess that's just how life is. If you make one mistake, then the whole world thinks you as a bad person, right? Even if you've done 99 good.
True, true, really
So
true.
we are afraid of that
I mean,
one mistake.
so kudos to Abdul Majid. You had 4 points, and we probably have to come back to you on what rank you're on the leaderboard. But we've had someone have 7 points, someone had 6 points, and Yetunde had 5 points. But I like to think that Yetunde cheated me, right? But I mean, you have points. We've had somebody have 3 points too, also. So I mean, great work on the rapid fire session.
Yeah,
Um, for
yeah.
Ridwan, so Ridwan,
It's my
I would
turn
like
now.
you. Yeah. So we're not doing rapid fire with you. We're just asking. So, I mean, we want you to tell us one privacy myth, or one really privacy one thing that's privacy related that people say that really upsets you, that you feel is an absolute lie, and you just want someone to, I mean, pour it down the drain and scream at the top of their voice that this is a big lie, this isn't true, or this isn't what is applicable. So give us one privacy myth you really wish people would stop saying or using.
So what people talk about when people talk about anonymized data. So what they say about anonymized data is that it's it changes the data to something anonymous, so that you won't be able to link the data to the you wouldn't be able to link the data to the owner of the data, so to speak. But what I wanted to say is that it's not that clear cut, and
Oh, really?
that's due to one thing I'm going to yes, it's not that clear cut. Yes, is that it's not. I would say it's not very easy to do. It's not very easy for you to anonymize data, and when people talk about anonymized data, anonymity, and everything like that, it's not really that simple to do. So though we have some data-driven objective concepts that are being used to kind of get to that stage of anonymity, like health diversity. I know you would have heard about this, to health diversity and K diversity. So these are
Yeah.
core engineering techniques or tools that have been used to anonymize data. But still, I would say it's not easy. And then I would also kind of want to quickly mention an off-the-shelf um, tool that has been used to kind of make data synthetic data. So synthetic data is kind of an anonymized data, but then I'll just give you, just to save time. So I'll just give you one of the shelf tools that you could look into and see and know, and probably know more about anonymized data, and that is Gretel.ai. So you could check that online and see how anonymized data is being used, or how it can be better deployed or
Can you
implemented.
hear
Thank you.
everyone? Or is
I
it
hope
just
that
me?
helps.
I mean, thank you very much, Redwan. Really insightful. I got like major parts of the conversation, or parts of the message you're trying to pass across. But
Thank you. Great.
thank you.
Thanks.
I think the first time I really came across privacy engineering was more recently. I don't think I really considered it as a space or as a field, or I really knew what it was about. I think I even learned more while preparing to have the session with you guys. So I think I'll ask Abdul Majid first. I mean, what's privacy engineering like? Break it down for us, like privacy engineering for dummies. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dolapo. So, privacy engineering it's not actually a new field. It's a field that has actually been in existence for a very long time. Just that there's something in tech that when a new feature is added, we tend to give it a more cooler name, or a name that seems to be cool. I mean, it's just like in Java, for example, you have lots of names in programming concepts that are just very simple and basic things, but they are having those names that make them look like it's rocket science. So to just answer your question, so privacy engineering is a field that lies between software development, or technical development, and the legal aspect of privacy. So the main idea is, instead of us building softwares or building systems that are built without putting privacy in mind, why not have some professionals that are experts in software development or in technical development, and are also experts in most of those privacy core concepts, like I said, privacy core concept, and not privacy laws as a whole. I don't think there's any even legal. Okay, maybe from the legal aspect, you might have some legal guys that can start quoting the GDPR for you from the first article to the last. But yeah, I think that also will be very difficult. But like I said, the core privacy concept, we need professionals that understand the core privacy concept, and also understand system or software development processes, so that we at the end, and the end goal of this is to have a software product, or to have our product that has already had privacy embedded and baked into it. In other sense, would make it easier for us to comply to various privacy and
I
security
mean,
law
I
regulations.
mean that's really amazing to hear. What I hear you saying is basically combining the best of both worlds, getting someone who really knows the privacy field, but also who has like the software engineering knowledge, and who can now implement privacy into the software development process. I mean, or the software development life
Exactly.
cycle. I mean, and that's pretty amazing. I think if there's anything, every tech company should have a privacy engineer, right? I mean, coming to you, read one thing I was going to ask is, or one thing I thought about while preparing for this session was, sometimes I tend to think, or reading about privacy engineering sort of made me feel like it sort of solves all privacy problems. Like, I mean, once you have a privacy engineer on seat, or once there's like privacy engineering for a product during the development life cycle, it sort of just do you think it guarantees for sure the rights of data subjects? Do you think it's an all-in approach?
Um, that's an interesting question. And I'd quickly say that largely, so just to give a short or one word response to your question, I would say largely. So it ensures, you know, data security or privacy to a very large extent. And I would say privacy engineering goes beyond privacy compliance. So privacy engineering could also be called could also be it could be termed to be privacy assurance. Having a kind of assurance that you have a privacy embedded or ingrained in your systems.
I got a good view of your points, and I honestly I think I totally agree, right? it goes beyond compliance. It's actually doing the work and ensuring that the product it's I think it's even on another end a very it's lies with the good sides of ethics, because I think privacy engineering honestly um largely is a conversation about ethics as well as legal obligations and compliance. And this, this brings me to my next question, right? Have you ever, and that's to you, Abdul Majid, have you ever been in a situation where, as a privacy engineer, where you were told to probably build or take out something that was privacy, a privacy enhancing feature, right? Have you ever been told, oh no no no, our business can't work with this, right? We need to do this, and it's probably against your privacy ethics or privacy laws. Have you ever been in those situations? And then how did you handle it?
Yeah. Thank you. So what I would before I answer that question, um, so there's a myth generally that the technical team are not always happy with like the legal team, or because of course the legal guys want to be compliant, they want to make sure everything in the book is followed as it is, and the technical guys want to develop sweet products, want to add sweet features and cool features. So there's generally like a war between both things. This is where the privacy engineer comes in and say, okay, this is what the legal team wants, and this is what the engineering team wants, and like tries to make sure um, both parties can get what they want without actually trading off. So coming to your question, I've never been in such situation, but I guess in organizations, especially when it comes to futures in a software that is privacy enhancing, what the organization should do is to look at the risk involved in us. So you'd consider the risk, if it's a risk that the organization can carry, then you ditch that feature. If it's a risk that the organization cannot carry, then you make sure that feature is embedded.
So one thing I also wanted to talk about was in the last year, TechHub Advisory, which is where I work, and they're one of like the sponsors for this podcast. So yay! But anyway, back to the main conversation, right? One of the things we've been doing, one of the things we did like for most parts of the year was doing research into deceptive designs, also known as dark patterns or manipulative designs, right? And I mean, how does a privacy engineer come into play when it comes in terms of design and templates for design? How do you how do privacy engineers come to bridge the would I say gap now, or how do they sort of balance it between really making profit and also rights of data subjects? I think Ridwan, this is for you.
Okay. Um, I think that's a good question, and it would make me go back to to talking a bit about who a privacy engineer is. So a privacy engineer could be lots of things, so to speak, because we have privacy engineers working with UI UX designers. So why I said you need to start from the beginning is because so many things can be done in terms of deceptive designs when you start considering deceptive designs and privacy engineering, from the beginning of the software development life cycle. Okay, and that's privacy engineers working with designers, that's UI UX, people working with them to to put them through on how to design those the whatever products they're working on. Okay, so when UI UX designers work with privacy engineers, or they are privacy engineers themselves, so when they work together, they tend to consider those things and then make sure that they are not building any types of deceptive designs. They are not, yes, they are not embedding any deceptive designs in the products. So that's why I said I need to go back from the beginning, and because that's where most that's where the self designs mostly come into products
Really
or
true.
any applications. Yes, and then just as we've talked about software development lifecycle, so many times, when software engineers continue to build the product as well. So at every point in time, when they are considering privacy principles, privacy requirements, so they tend to build privacy into the because I believe that the separate designs, so much falls under privacy as well. Sort of, they can't be sort of um, torn apart
Definitely.
in a very large way. Yeah,
I said, yeah, definitely. Like it's a huge, it's a privacy
thank you.
conversation. Actually, it's a privacy related conversation.
Exactly. So when privacy engineers are working on their systems, their products, their softwares, so they tend to look at those things that could constitute deceptive designs, and then they tend to because they are privacy leaders, they are privacy they are privacy advocates, so they tend to make sure that those things are not built into the products they build.
From research, I realized that sometimes it's not even the builders or the designers of these products are not even so intentional about what they build, such that they do not even know that certain techniques or features of the app or website or whatever could be manipulated. So this, I feel like this is also where like privacy engineers come into to sort of investigate and check. Oh, this is the loophole here, there's a lapse here, there's something that we need to, there's something we need to take out, there's something we need to put back. So I think it's a whole lot of another conversation, and maybe we'll have another conversation where we really talk about deceptive designs and how they could be dealt with. But I mean, coming to like the more career aspect of it now, how did you get, that's for Abdul Majid now, how did you get into um privacy engineering? Was it intentional? Did you find yourself in the field? Because I mean, it's something sort of, it's rare to find people who have like a good mix of knowledge that cuts across like different multiple fields. So I mean, how did you find yourself here?
I found myself by the grace of God. But yeah, but to just give a more descriptive answer, so I actually studied information technology. So we kind of learnt software engineering principles, good software development practices. We learned cyber security, which then I did had a little experience in software development until I decided to go more into the information protection and cyber security space. Then privacy then bumped out everywhere, and I kind of decided to focus more on privacy. Did I answer that question?
So I didn't know you studied information security. For a lot of the people I've met in privacy engineering, they switched, not switched, they started from the legal aspect and they now diversified, right? But I mean, Ridwan, what about you? How did you get here?
Okay, it's a very long story. I'll try to make it short as much as possible. Um, Ordinarily, I would say privacy engineering is very technical. To a large extent,
I
it's
totally agree.
technical
It's really
because
technical.
when we start yeah, so because when we start talking about off-the-shelf, privacy tools, we might probably say that it's not, that's technical. But then I could remember when I was taking one of the One Trust courses. I think it was on cookies, and then I think there was a kind of disclaimer sort of that it's going to be technical because many of those courses were they tend to talk about workflow automation and the likes. So workflow automation, anybody could probably, so to speak, and almost anybody um could kind of go meander through those processes, so to speak. But then coming back to your question, so the reason I said that is you need to go through some sort of processes or some sort of you need to have a kind of roadmap, and that would be a bit technical before you could kind of. So it was a bit. So the reason I'm saying that is because it was a bit tough. so to say, a bit. So I initially, I mean, from the beginning, from a tender age, I've been interested in computers, and then when I got to the university, I did a lot of things, that's involved in working on computers, or even repairing
But
computers would be to
so sorry
an
to, can
extent.
you hear me?
Right,
So
sorry.
to be
Yeah,
sure,
I
you
can hear you.
studied law, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
law for computers law. Help me, find me.
Eh, yes, I okay. Maybe I should make another, what's it called? The I should say another secret. I like maths actually. So I know many lawyers don't
I
like
mean,
maths.
that brings you farther away
So
from law or people who study law. So I mean,
Well, I'm a lawyer. I don't know. I once say I don't know how I found myself, in law. But then, I just wanted to do. I think, not just law, but then I wanted to bring a lot of things together, sort of. But then that's a story for another time. So, considering with my story, when I got to I was in when I was in the University of Lorraine, so I did my undergraduate there, and then when I was done with law school at Lagos campus, I think immediately after my law school, I was opportune to attend the program, and it was about law and technology. So, and I was opportune again to listen to a talk by Mr. Rotimi Ogunyemi. So I think
okay.
he's the co-chair, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's one of the, or he's a former co-chair. I'm not sure if he's still. I know there was a
For
change
IPP?
in administration recently. No,
Okay.
not for IPP. I mean for law, for what's the name again? There's these. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but there's this a kind of committee for, okay, if I remember, I'll mention
Alright.
it. But then it's actually under the NBA. So the SBL, yes, section for business law. So there's another technology committee, so to speak. So he's the co-chair for that committee. So going further, so I was opportune to listen to him, and then he was talking about how the intersection between law and technology, and how you could be a blockchain. So he was specifically talking about blockchain then. So I got interested in blockchain, and then I got started. That was how my journey got
I mean,
started. So I was
interesting.
interested in blockchain. So I started with HTML, CSS, because I think I started immediately with Solidity, but then I understood that I have to start, with the basics. So I have to go back to web development, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then I went back to Solidity as a programming language, I mean, specifically for blockchain development. So I built a bit, because it's not at all, that's, I mean, the application I built, or yes, they're not that's exquisite, sort of. But then I worked on some dApps. I joined some, some programs, including a Binance program, a block bootcamp. Then, so going back to the main thing. So then, as a lawyer, because I was still working as a lawyer then, so I was thinking that I need to also have a bit of understanding of some other technologies, so as to, because I was still advising clients, so to speak, technology companies, sort of. So I need to understand some other, because I have a kind of background in technology. I need
Yeah.
to have a bit of understanding of some other technologies to be able to advise uniquely some other clients that are working in those, other parts of the industry, I mean, technology industry. So I learned some, so that was how I got to learn a bit of AI. So AI models and algorithms, and those things. And then I got to learn cloud computing, software development, then cyber security. So but then I was thinking that if I really want to go into the industry, the technology industry,
Mm-hmm.
the tech space, I need to kind of streamline whatever I'm doing. So that's led me to thinking of, what to go into. But then along the way, I got introduced. I was kind of drawn towards privacy, and because it seemed unique, sort of. I saw not lots of lawyers actually, but then because I like doing unique things, sort of. So
I mean,
then that was when
inspiration. I like to do unique things. Okay.
what actually inspires me is that I want to bring law and tech together. Okay, I want to really make the impossible to be possible because we have a huge gap between law and tech. Sort of, law or regulation is very slow, and then tech is very fast. So my intent has always been that I want to be a kind of, should I say stakeholder? I don't know if that's the right word
Yeah, I
in tech
get.
and law, and bring this together so as to make things easy for engineers generally. So I want to talk to engineers as if I am an engineer, even though I'm a lawyer. So that's include me learning the core aspects of engineering. Actually, I mean the technical thing, not just learning the foundational or the fundamental aspects of software engineering or other technologies. So because of my interest in privacy, so I then got, going to the main topic now, or the main question. I got introduced, or I met. Let me put it that way. I met Nishant Bajaria. It doesn't show me. So Nishant Bajaria is a world leader in privacy
Oh,
engineering.
interesting.
So he's he's a well-renowned privacy engineer. He worked at Nike. I don't know if that's how they pronounce it, if it's Nike or Nike. He worked at
We get what
Uber,
you're saying. That's what's
Netflix, even
important.
at so, so he worked at so many, big technology companies. So and
Okay.
as a privacy engineer, so I got inspiration from him actually, and I just actually finished this course on privacy engineering on data protocol today
Ridwan,
actually.
you're giving us a lot
So
of. What are you doing with your life? Can you do something? Really,
uh,
really interesting to know.
so, it's been a lot. So I think I'll just stop there. I've used most of our
It
time. So
sounds a lot, and,
thank you
and
for
it sounds
asking
like you're someone who
me.
is always pushing to learn. And like I said earlier on the call, I want to be like you when I grow up. I think I've learned like a lot from you guys on this conversation. Um, your life as privacy engineers, what you do, why it's important. I think when people hear privacy engineers, it's new to a lot of people in the space. Not that the field is new, but it's new to a lot of people. And like Abdul Majid said, it's probably just the fine-tuned name, right? That's making people really interested in it. But I'd like to. I think I would like to ask that. What does a day in the life of a privacy engineer look like? And that's the Abdul Majid. Like, what's your typical day like? What do you do? Like, are you saving the world? Should we label you a superhero? What's the day in
Ah,
the life of a privacy engineer like?
yeah. Saving the world. I guess so. Depends. So
It depends on the lens you want to look at it with.
exactly. Yeah. So just to answer that question. So in different organizations have um the roles and responsibilities that they give to privacy engineers. So, for example, you'd have organizations where they say, okay, they want you to be with the software developers from the early stage, which is starting from when they're in the software analysis stage to the development stage to the testing and like the whole software development life cycle. And some organizations can say, okay, we don't really want you to do all this. We just want to give you a piece of code, and we want you to review that code, which we've
Okay.
had for a very long time. For example, for the security space, where at times you might have to review a code for security flaws. So some
But
organizations like Facebook.
doesn't that seem like medicine after death? Because they've already built the code or written the code. Correct me if
It's
I'm
not
wrong.
really medicine after death. It's not
Okay.
really medicine after death because the code has not been deployed yet. It's just a software
Okay.
developer that has written the
Okay.
code, and they'll say, okay, we need you to review this code and identify flaws that you've seen. But in general, I would say the life of a privacy engineer involves, speaking with various teams, various departments, making sure the company is using the right technology tools to enable privacy, making sure decisions are not privacy decisions are not being made without actually looking at it from an engineering point of view. So in some organizations, of course, I'm going to say it's like a superhero job, and in some other organizations, it's not really a superhero job, but just um, a normal job. But at the end, it depends. If you love what you're doing, then it's always a superhero job to you.
I like to think of anything privacy and data protection as superhero jobs because I um someone close to me always talk when he talks about DPOs. He says he doesn't envy them, and that's because they have so much to look and so much to consider. They're thinking about the business. They're thinking about the top guys. They're thinking about the consumers. The life of
Exactly,
anybody who is in privacy is the life of a superhero.
superhero.
Honestly
That's true.
speaking,
That's true. That's
I
true.
totally agree. Superhero skill set.
Okay.
Really interesting. I like to think that anybody who's in the privacy field has to know a bit of everything. Like they have to be jack of all trades, master of some, and expert in
Mm,
others. I don't know if that makes sense. Because
I like that.
you need to know a part of cybersecurity, you need to know a part of engineering, you need to know. It's
Mhm.
just wild. You need to know a bit of the law. You need to know the compliance
Very,
aspect.
very.
I
Mhm.
that's really amazing to know. I think this will be like really my last question for you guys, and this question is probably important to everybody out there who are interested or who are looking to become privacy engineers, right? What skill sets or what skill set or what should they be looking at if they're looking at a career in privacy in privacy engineering? What opportunities are there out there? And please consider the Nigerian market. I know some of us are like global. I'm not gonna mention names, and we don't do like Nigerian companies, but not mentioning names now, right? What set should they be looking at, and what should they be looking at building to get to where you guys are now in terms of knowledge or work experience or job opportunities?
It's just like you've said, it's a field that needs you to have like exposure to a little bit of engineering, a little bit of privacy, a little bit of a lot of privacy, I would say. Um, Also cybersecurity, information security, and so on. So I'll start by saying, first of all, if you can afford it, go to university, and we have universities that are now offering um, 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 BSc and master's degree in privacy engineering. I think that's the fastest way to go into that field. If you graduate with a master's degree in privacy engineering today, I'm sure you get a job instantly. Um,
Oh
for
wow,
those of
I've learned something
for
new. Going to re-enroll in school, guys.
Yeah, but for those of us that are like me, that we cannot afford to go to school and study 4 years or 2 years, yeah, I would say you should um first of all start by it depends on where you are currently. If you're already in the software development field, try to start learning more about privacy, and um start from where you are, and start embedding some of these privacy concepts into your software development life cycle. And if you're already in the legal field, or in the privacy space, and you already have good understanding of some common privacy regulations, then start getting your hands dirty, and learning some of those technical concepts. There are actually a lot of free courses online, if you search in the right place, that could actually um, guide you into how that could actually teach some of the skills that you'd need as a privacy engineer. And like we all know, you can't know everything, right? So just um learn as much as you can. And what I tend to do most of the time is, we know how difficult it is for us as Nigerians to get jobs, right? So the advice that I give most of my colleagues and younger ones is, okay, look for an organization and volunteer with that organization. Spend
Really
um,
true.
dedicate
Solid point.
1 year of your life to just working for free, but you're not actually working for free, because you'll be getting the required experience that you need to set you in a world class standard.
I mean,
Ridwan, I
really,
guess you
really
should
true.
take it from here. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you totally, and I think I'll take it from very stop especially from the fact that it actually depends on where you are currently. So it depends on where you are. So most private engineers that I do see, I think they have backgrounds in either security. So when I say security, it could it could be cyber security or cloud security, which is one of my areas as well, because it's where most companies are heading towards, sort of cloud computing. So and so software engineering as well, so software engineering and security. So just as I think it was Nishan Bajari, I think I had it from him that I just wanted to quickly mention this before I forget it, that you can just to create a niche for yourself and to also kind of
True.
draw the market to you.
Mm,
So what you could do is just to go to school and take the course, and then
Yeah.
to have
So
yeah
sorry,
design.
Ridwan, just to cut you, you were talking of school. So there's a privacy engineering program at Carnegie Mellon University. It's in the
Mm-hmm.
US.
Yeah.
It's actually a very good course. It's in collaboration with IAPP. So and I can say 100% of the graduates from that course, they get job even before finishing
Interesting.
the course.
wow.
You also have KU Leuven. I think it's a Catholic University of Leuven
Mm.
in Brussels. That's also a very good institution where you could target if you have
Interesting.
the means. Yeah. Sorry, go
Yeah,
on, Ridwan.
that's great. Yeah, thank you. So, so you kind of, so if you're doing it, the other way, not, proceeding to school, maybe because it's too expensive or anything. So you could start from being, acclimatizing yourself, getting familiar with, the tools that are, used in building privacy and embedding privacy into, systems, and those could be, we actually have two major ways that privacy privacy is built into systems. So it could be it could be tools that could be built in-house, I mean, by software engineers, or it could be off the shelf tools like software tools. So we've mentioned some, I think we mentioned one first. So and then we also have security, so security with an eye. So they have this platform called, okay, let me start with OneTrust. So OneTrust has different courses. So it's just to kind of have an idea of how those things work, so that when you get when you start getting your hands dirty writing codes that will consider privacy, then you'll have a kind of you would also kind of decide if you're really interested in the space or not. So the three major
Mhm.
things you need to put your mind to, that you need to consider to be a privacy engineer, I think are privacy itself, so software engineering, and cyber security. That's where we have data security. So that's very important, especially access controls, and okay. So I'll just stop there, so not to take much of our time. So thank you
I
very
mean,
much.
I mean, we don't have so much knowledge to pour,
Keep
and it's amazing to
keep
see.
on talking, please. Let's we are benefiting a lot from.
This
Thank
has
you
been
so much, guys. I can't wait for this episode to go out and for everybody to learn from it. Thank you so much, Abdul Majid. Thank you, Ridwan, it was great having you guys on.
You
It's good
too.
now. Okay. So I mean, who knows? This could be the start of my own privacy engineering journey. So I mean, you guys look ahead and expect the name in expect my name in privacy engineering. But more seriously, thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm sure the audience is going to learn so much from this episode too. Guys, you heard it here first. Um, the life or a day in the life of a privacy engineer, and from Abdulmajid and from Ridwan who are living the lives. So thank you again. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Yeah, you it remains our lovely DPO and I, Itunde. This episode was sponsored by Ikigai Innovation Initiative and was brought to you by Tech Hive Advisory.
And a big shout out to our executive producer Ridwan Oluyede, associate producers Dolakwan Yetunde.
This podcast was edited by Ayonfe Aino, shout out to her, and our podcast associate Victoria Adaramola, and graphics by Okwe Abujade.